Welcome back to Homesteading with the Zimmermans, where we work hard and play hard on our little corner of land in Iowa. My husband and I were born and raised Old Order Mennonite, or horse and buggy Mennonite, as some refer to them as. And although we are no longer part of that culture or community, we are intentional about passing on the old-fashioned skills of our childhood to the next generation. Hello everyone, I am Ruth Ann Zimmerman here with Homesteading with the Zimmermans, and in today's video I'm going to be making an old-fashioned vanilla pudding, and I'm going to use it to make a banana cream dessert for my family for family dinner tonight. So the old-fashioned vanilla pudding is just like Grandma used to make, and no instant pudding. And then instead of graham cracker crumbs or Nilla wafers for lining the dessert, I am going to use a sugar cookie crust. And it's just going to be a basic recipe, just like Grandma used to make it, not needing any special ingredients from the grocery store. Now, one of my favorite resources for answering the question, how did Grandma used to make this, is this Mennonite Community Cookbook. The first edition of this book was released in 1950. So that's the year my mother was born. So it's my grandparents' recipes in here. It was before instant pudding, likely before they could buy cream cheese at the store even. So before a lot of processed foods were available to them, or prepackaged versions of anything. So anytime I ask the question, wait, this doesn't taste like Grandma's, or how did Grandma make this? This is where I go. And this cookbook has at least a dozen different pudding recipes, and they all use either cornstarch or flour. So when you make these, they're gonna taste like Grandma's puddings. So that's what we're going to be working on today. And since today's already Thursday, I'm going to have to film and edit this before Saturday. And as many of you know, we are coming down off of a wedding. Our daughter got married on Saturday. And of course, the weeks leading up to that were extremely busy. And we put a lot of things to the back burner. And so now we're playing catch up. One of the things that we're probably not going to get to really throw ourselves into this year is making maple syrup, and that's okay. We made 10 gallons last year, and we have about half of that left. So a lot of you have asked for a video on, tapping our maple trees, but we're only tapping a few trees, and probably we'll just cook down one batch, just because of the lack of time. The other thing that we're working on right now is at the Christian school that our children attend, the older students are getting ready to go compete at a regional student convention. So I've been busy painting props for the drama department. And so that has taken up 2 complete days this week, and I'm not done painting yet. However, the family still needs to eat. And so I might as well just film myself making a treat for the family. So that is what you're in for today. And I know that many of you are wanting sneak peeks of the wedding. So one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever gotten and will pass on to you is, as mother of the bride, on the day of the wedding, hand your phone to one of your friends or family members that knows you very well and tell them to film and take pictures, when it's appropriate anyway. Because at the end of the day, the whole day just seems like a blur. At the end of the day, when everybody had gone home and everything was said and done, I got to sit and enjoy moments that I may have briefly seen but wasn't part of. And I'm going to share a few of my favorite clips and photos that my friend got for me and that I've been watching over and over, and really getting to enjoy the day through the pictures and videos that are on my phone. And then of course in a couple months we'll get back to professional photos. But these pictures and videos, they are just bringing me so much joy. It was a beautiful day. We enjoyed every bit of it. And thank you all for your well wishes and your prayers for the new couple. They are on their honeymoon and we are so overjoyed for them. So all of Grandma's recipes for pudding will say use a double boiler. And what that is a set of 2 pots that fit together. And you put water in the bottom one, and then you put your product that you're making into the top one, and this prevents scorching. I don't have a double boiler, and double boilers take a long time, and since I'm kind of a hasty cook and like to cut corners, I don't use a double boiler very often. So if I need to use a double boiler, I will take my pot and then I'll take a stainless steel bowl and put it in the top. However, in today's modern world, if you have really good heavy bottom stock pots, or pots like this that have a real heavy bottom, you're less likely to scorch your pudding because the heat is distributed more evenly with a heavy bottom stock pot or a heavy bottom pot like this. And plus you're going to be more vigilant with your stirring, knowing that there's a risk of scorching. So last time I made banana pudding, I didn't scorch it. So I hope for your sake that I don't scorch it this time either. But I have no other distractions because the kids are all at school. So we're probably good. So because I only saved 2 bananas, I'm not going to be making a double batch of banana dessert today like I normally would. I'm just making a single batch and we will all share it. And because our daughter and new son-in-law are on their honeymoon, we won't have such a large table full of people at family dinner tonight. So for a single recipe, in this heavy bottom pot, I'm going to start with 1 1/2 cups of milk. And I'm really loving my new measuring cups from 4 Jars. And I am going to be sharing my affiliate link to 4 Jars. So that's 1 1/2 cups of milk. Okay, I'm going to go on a little rabbit trail here. The other new thing that 4 Jars just sent me is these funnels. But not only that, they send me this little strainer that fits into the top of these funnels. This is a game changer, guys, because I have a little strainer, but it never sits properly in my funnels, and I end up making a mess because mess should be my middle name. But here's the other thing. Look, here they've got the measurements for your headspace. This is 1 inch, 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch headspace. This is going to be beautiful the next time I can. Anyway, so I'm going to put the link to their website into the description of this video for you guys. So the other 1/2 cup of milk is going to go into this measuring cup. And I measured that fairly generously, so I'm not going to use quite all of it. We're going to mix in 3/4 a cup of sugar and use granulated sugar. I have from Azure Standard, I have this organic granulated sugar, and that is why it looks dark. You need 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. And 1/4 a teaspoon of salt. So we're just going to mix this cornstarch mixture together until it's nice and smooth. And then we're going to add it to our milk mixture. And we're going to turn this burner to a medium-low. So now, because I'm not using a double boiler, I'm not going to walk away and do anything else because I don't want any bit of that milk to get stuck on the bottom of my pot, because as soon as you have a little bit of milk stuck on the bottom of your pot, then more milk's going to stick to it, and that's what causes scorching. So here's what I wanted to show you. If I'm using a whisk to stir it, I'm only touching the pot right here at this spot, and that's going to leave a whole lot of room for milk to stick to the bottom. So I've learned using something that you can scrape the whole bottom of the pot with, like this, is a much better bet for keeping my things from scorching. So one of the things that is different with a flour pudding or a cornstarch pudding is it's not going to stay good in your refrigerator for as long as an instant pudding or even a clear gel type pudding would. But I also know that in Grandmother's Day, they were looking for things to do with all the milk they were bringing to the house. So they didn't really care if they had to make pudding every 2 to 3 days, because it was a way for them to use up milk before it went bad. Because if they had a family milk cow, like we do, they were bringing, you know, anywhere from 2 to 5 gallons of milk to the house every day. And if they did have a refrigerator or an ice room, the refrigerators were small, and their spring houses or ice rooms didn't have room to keep milk for a week. They weren't looking to keep milk for a week, and it wasn't an option. So if Grandma had to make pudding every 2 to 3 days, that's what she did. So don't expect your cornstarch or your flour-based puddings to stay good and fresh in the refrigerator for a week. Because they don't have those preservatives in and those stabilizers to keep them from separating, which is what we want. So embrace the fact that your food is spoiling even in the refrigerator, because that means you have minimal ingredients in your diet. So I know I said you're not supposed to do anything else, but I forgot to get my eggs ready. So I got to do that now. So you're going to need 2 egg yolks. So you're going to mix your egg yolks up really well. So when your milk and cornstarch mixture starts getting warm, so where it steams, you're going to pour some of it into your eggs. And that's called tempering your eggs. So you're just going to heat your eggs up a little bit. Then you're going to add your egg mixture to your warm pudding mixture. And you're just going to keep stirring. So I know that at this point you're probably getting tired of stirring. If you're not using a double boiler, you can't walk away. Trust me, I know. You're going to scorch your pudding if you walk away. So you can see it's starting to thicken by what I'm scraping off of the bottom. So when it starts looking like a real thin pudding, you can remove it from your heat because it will get thicker as it chills. So this is about how thick you want it. And I'm going to remove this from the heat, and then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of butter. And we're going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla. So if at this point you feel like your pudding is not really smooth or it has some lumps, no worries. You can just put your immersion blender in it and fluff it up, or pour it into your blender. Or if your family's not as picky as mine, they'll just eat the lumps and not care. So now you're just going to set that pudding to chill. So in modern day banana pudding dessert recipes, the modern recipes will either call for vanilla wafers or graham cracker crumb crust. But we're going to make a sugar cookie type crust. and you're going to start with half a cup of butter. So because I put my butter in bulk containers, I'm going to weigh 4 ounces of butter because that's half a cup. And there we go. There's 4 ounces of butter. And we're going to soften that. So now that our 1/2 cup of butter is softened, we're going to add 3/4 a cup of sugar and 1 whole egg. And we're going to cream this together. Then we're going to add 1.5 cups of flour. And since I already have my 3/4 cup measuring cup dirty, and 3/4 and 3/4 is 1.5, I'm just going to use my 3/4 cup measuring cup twice. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we're going to mix all of that together. And this is going to be a very dry dough. You're going to press it into your pan. Okay, so you can use a 9x13 and use the same recipe. I'm just putting it into a 9x9 because number one, I only have 2 bananas and I only made a single recipe of pudding. So if you have more than 2 bananas, you could use this recipe and put it in a 9x13. And then also I put a little bit into this pan, and I'm just gonna bake this like a large cookie, and then I'm gonna crumble it up to put on the top of my dessert. This is optional. It just makes it look pretty. So with me using a complete sugar cookie crust recipe in a 9x9, it just means that we will get more cookie with every bite. We're going to put these into a 350-degree oven. And I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes, your little one is probably going to be done. Yeah. And if you put this into a 9x13, it's probably going to be done already, but because I put mine in a 9x9, I'm going to give it just a couple more minutes because it's a little thicker than it would be with a 9x13. So I'm probably going to give that 2 more minutes. So when your sugar cookie crust is done baking, you'll want to chill it. But this one, as soon as you don't really need to chill this. You'll just want to crumble it up for topping. So when your sugar cookie crust is cool, you're going to slice your bananas, and you're just going to layer your bananas on top of the crust. And then you're going to take your vanilla pudding and you're going to layer that on top of the bananas. Okay, a couple things. The banana flavor is going to pull through this vanilla pudding because we all know whatever touches a banana will end up tasting like a banana, right? So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and let it finish chilling all together. And this vanilla pudding is going to start tasting like bananas. And then if you're using a Cool Whip or, you know, like a store-bought whip topping, you can put that on and put it in the refrigerator. I'm going to wait to put on my whip topping until I'm almost ready to serve it, just because I'm going to start with raw cream and that sometimes separates a little bit as it sits. So the other thing is you can make a double batch of pudding and really pile this up with pudding if you like. I probably easily could have done that. It really doesn't matter what shape or size you make it, but anytime you want to make a dessert, you can use any fruit. You can use a vanilla pudding, and you can use a sugar cookie crust. But yes, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator, and then right before family dinner, I'm going to make some whipped topping, and we are going to serve it for family dinner dessert. So we are going to make the whipped topping, and this is a handy little Pampered Chef whipped cream maker that I found at the thrift shop this week. And number one, you only have one dirty dish, and it's manual, and it goes so fast. So I'm gonna skim some heavy cream off the top of one of these jars of raw milk. And then into the heavy cream, I am going to put 1 tablespoon of powdered sugar. And then we're gonna put the lid on, and we are going to let the boys make some whipped cream. Oh yeah. Woo!
Just one person?
Okay, you want this with your strawberries first?
Yeah. How many I try?
Yep, I'm gonna have to make some more. So the boys decided they want this batch of cream. Okay, now wait, and I'll bring you your fruit, okay? And since we had some strawberries and blueberries left from the wedding cheesecakes, okay, mix it around.
That's
There you go.
I was like, that's a little, and last time we had a lot. Did you not have enough? Then I was like, so good. Oh, you mixed it up.
Is that good?
Very. Where's Mitchell?
All right, so here we go, making another batch of cream.
Can I do it?
You may do it this time.
Oh, can I have more?
No, this is for our dessert for supper.
What do we have for dessert?
Banana cream.
And what are we having?
Dad's making pork chops.
No.
And we're gonna have leftover cheese potatoes from the wedding.
What else?
All right, are you ready, Kendrick? Do you want to make a batch?
Me? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I gotta go wash everything up.
Oh, can I lick that off?
No, because I'm gonna use it again. It's whipped cream. Let me see.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, don't.
so good.
Okay, you can have that. Now we're gonna take those cookie crumbs
Yum.
and put them on the top, just like that.
Is it banana goodie?
It is.